Sup, you chuckle fucks, it's your boy Dark Raikou here with What If Issei was the son of Sosuke Aizen. So yeah, this is part 5 of this What If. So yes, let me begin this What If. Let me shut the fuck up. I have some time, but yeah, let me begin. So yeah, but other than that, let's begin into this What If. We begin into Serapha and Sona actually talking, while Issei's actually outside the door and of course suppressing his Rialso and magic signature so they won't actually spot him. He actually wants to hear out what Sona and Serapha actually want to talk about. This is where, well, mostly Drake is actually just cut off just so he won't bother Issei. And this is where, well, Issei is hearing what they're actually talking about. This is where Serapha goes. Serapha says, "So, Sona-chan, do you like him?" This is where, well, Serapha kind of asks Sona. This is where, well, Sona says, "Like who?" This is where she starts blushing for a little bit. This is where, well, Sona says, "Aw, sis, don't play dumb with me. Do you like him? Do you like that boy? That brown-haired boy? You know, what was his name? Ah, yes, Issei-kun. Do you like him? Do you want to have children with him?" This is where Serapha was kind of asking multiple questions. This is where Sona's face became all red in an instant. This is where Sona said, what are you talking about, sis? This is where, well, Serapha was saying, "Aw, you're blushing so cutely. You do like him. You want to have so many children, don't you, with him?" This is where, well, mostly Sona says, "What are you going on about, sis? I think you're crazy. Maybe you've been watching too much Magical Girl stuff." This is where Serapha kind of like hears Magical Girl, and of course she gets sidetracked with her questioning and says, "Magical Girl is one of the best things in the world." This is where she rips off her clothes and says, "I am a Magical Girl and I will help you with your problem." This is where Sona's already gone, blink, 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 but yeah. This is where, well, or she was about to like try to run away. Disappear in an instant, and of course, where, well, mostly Seraph will say, "Hey, Sona-chan, where are you going? No, come back here." This is where Sona is saying, "No, I'm out of here." This is where Sona just starts running, or like running past Issei. Issei's suppressing his energy, and of course, he looks hidden as hell. And of course, where Sona didn't actually look around, so of course, she just ran. And this is where Seraph ran past, but this is where, well, Seraph thought she noticed Issei, but this is where Issei kind of uses Kyokugetsu to kind of like illusion himself to look like he's the wall, but yeah. So of course, this is where Seraph didn't notice. But we go into Issei kind of, well, releasing his energy, but back to a normal, like, pace, but yeah. This is where Issei kind of has this, like, very tint of, like, pink color of his blush. This is where, well, when I mean Issei's a dense moron in love, he's not actually entirely. Mostly, he knows what love is, he just never experienced it. The problem is, when his mostly father or his mostly dragon wants to tease him, or anyone wants to actually tease him in love, he just acts like a dense moron, so he actually doesn't get bothered by people. This is where, well, when hearing Sona about a lot of things from how Serapha was questioning Sona and other things, Issei had a very, not light blush, very dark color of blush, and this is where, well, it was kind of crimson red for a little bit, until he just kind of like shakes it off and starts walking away, acting back like a stoic self. But he won't be able to take that out of his head, and he will have to put it in a different side of memory, so Drake doesn't actually get to see or remember hear any of the memories of what Issei's thinking most of the time. This is where Issei can actually separate mostly thoughts from mostly Drake, so yeah. So that's how skilled he is in his mind, but yeah. This is where, well, Issei walks away, and this is where, well, Issei is just going to have to think of mostly a way to actually, well, make sure to kind of act normal around Sona after hearing all that. This is where, well, this is where Issei says, "She is really cute." What am I thinking about? What am I actually thinking about? What was my actual mission? This is where, well, Issei is now thinking of what his actual mission was again, and why he's actually in the human world. He had some fun and other things, but his actual mission, why is he actually doing this now that he thinks about it? He hasn't actually got contact by his father in about like 4 weeks, so yeah. Or not 4 weeks, 2 weeks. Since he actually been in the human world for only 2 weeks. So of course this is actually the longest point of him being in the human world for like 2 weeks. But yeah, he only been in the human world for like either 1 day, 2 days, or even like actually a week. It's quite rare for him to actually be in the human world for actually 2 weeks, not actually like 1 week or even like a couple of days. But he doesn't mind it. He has met some other people, quite interesting. He meets some old friends, or pretty much, yeah. Doesn't work well. He really doesn't mind it. He doesn't hate it. He actually enjoys it, talking to some people instead of just like training. This is where, well, he then snaps out and thinks, what am I thinking about? No, I should be training. I should be getting stronger. If I don't get stronger, how am I going to be able to fight against Kurosaki Ichigo? I'm such an idiot. No, I shouldn't be having fun. That's what Ichigo Kurosaki does. I am not Ichigo Kurosaki. I am Issei Aizen. If I start having fun, then my skills will start becoming dull. No. No, I shouldn't start thinking about that. Does it work? Well, mostly Drake actually connected back at the perfect time when he woke up and managed to connect back with Issei's thoughts. And this is where he's hearing how Issei is talking. He didn't say anything. He actually started just quietly. He just stayed there quietly, but sent a little signal towards Aizen. This is where Aizen was actually seeing this and kind of just like wondering what to do next and how to make Issei be more comfortable in the human world. But we go into Issei kind of not going to school for a couple of days. Issei has actually been training very hard. This is where, well, Issei doesn't want to get rid of his skills or dull them at all. But yeah. But of course, where Issei decides to go back to school. Of course, where, well, Issei has an excuse that he just says he kind of got sick. But yeah, even though he knows that he can never get sick, not because of the fact that he is not human at all. Well, he is, but he just doesn't get sick that easily. He's pretty immune to a lot of sicknesses of normal humans, but yeah. But of course, he's just going to just lie about that, but yeah. This is where Issei gets to the school, and of course, where, well, he sees someone at the gate right now just checking everyone in, and this is where when Issei and this girl kind of connect their eyes, this is where, well, the person looks away, but a tint of like a color of a blush, and Issei kind of has a little tint of blush. This is where, well, Issei kind of looks at Sona, right now looking cheerful and happy, just getting rid of the blush. This is where Issei says, "Hey Sona, are you doing good?" This is where, well, Sona looks up and says, "Yeah, I am." This is where, well, she is still kind of having a tint of blush, but she's trying to hide it with mostly using her kind of glasses to glow a little bit, but yeah. Issei says, "Good, I'm happy that you're doing fine." This is where, well, they both have such an awkward silence for a second. And this is where, well, Sona then questioning what happened to Issei. Why wasn't he for 2 days? Issei kind of said that he kind of had a small little sickness. It's probably something that he ate. This is where, well, mostly Sona said, "Oh, are you okay?" And this is where, well, Sona seems very worried about him. And Issei thinks it is just so cute, really cute. This is where, well, Issei then kind of shakes his head and says, "No, it's really fine. Really freaking fine." This is where, well, mostly Sona said, "Oh, okay." This is where, well, Sona says, "Well, you should probably be getting to class." Issei says, "Yeah, I should." This is where, well, they look at each other for a couple of seconds, and this is where Issei starts walking away. This is where, well, Drake in his mind, he hasn't said anything. He seems asleep, but really he has been quiet, very quiet. This is where, well, he's been kind of seeing how Issei and mostly Sona react to each other. This is where, well, Drake is saying, "This motherfucker might be such a good actor now that I think about it. Every time me and Aizen try to tease him, he just acts like he's dumb. But could he act that he's just dumb just so we won't tease him?" This is where Drake is kind of thinking in his head. This is where he's kind of trying to remember and how mostly Issei reacted with the whole love and other stuff, but yeah. This is where, well, we go into mostly Issei kind of getting towards class. When he gets to class, he goes to sit down, and of course, where he already has his own book and other things to just read and other stuff. The teacher questioned him why he wasn't here. Issei said that he might have ate something and that's why how he got sick and other stuff. So yeah, he feels a little bit better today, but yeah. Well, the teacher nodded and says, "Oh, well, I'm so sorry about that. But can you start at the page if you can do it? This is where if you can or not, and you can let Rias do it. This is where Issei nods and says, no, it's fine. This is where Issei starts on the page and where there will be at. Mostly she said what number, and this is where Issei kind of reads and other stuff, but yeah. Now, of course, Issei doesn't need to read or do any of it because he already finished almost half of all the work. But it's kind of just fine for him to do it, but yeah. This is where, he does it, and this is where, mostly the teacher says, well, we're gonna do a little group project together. The people in your table will be your partner for today. Other than that, we will do a larger project later on. But this is where, mostly she kind of goes on and other stuff. And this is where, the project is just supposed to just write a kind of like little like play out. Just a little play out because it was just a Romeo and Juliet kind of thing that they were reading, but yeah. This is where, mostly Issei and Rias look at each other, and this is where, mostly the guys say, but we're sitting next to guys. The girls are sitting next to girls, but yeah, whatever. And this is where, the only people that they can actually think about that is sitting actually next to, either a guy or a girl together is mostly Issei and Rias. This is where all the guys and mostly girls kind of looks at mostly Rias and Issei. Issei says, teacher, I don't feel too good. Can I go to the bathroom, please? This is where Issei said. Now, of course, he's just trying to get out of the way from Rias, so yeah. He doesn't care if he actually fails this, but yeah. This is where, the teacher says, yes, you may. This is where Issei says, good. This is where Issei, gets up and just starts kind of going to the bathroom, but yeah. This is where Rias says, I feel like you aren't sick. This is where, she thinks in her head. Issei says, I just gotta get away from Red Riding Hood. Because she will probably be pissed and annoyed and other stuff and trying to bother me. This is where, Issei stayed in the bathroom for a while. He just suppresses energy and just fucking hate a while, but yeah. This is where, it came to the end of the, hour, and this is where Issei kind of got back and said, sorry, I got here late. The teacher says, no, it's fine. You will make up the assignment later by yourself, but yeah. This is where Issei says, oh, okay, that's fine. Sorry. This is where, Issei apologizes. This is where, the teacher nodded, and this is where Issei kind of takes the assignment, onto his back, but yeah, walks away until mostly someone with red hair stops him. This is where Rias says, hey, Issei. Issei turns around, and this is where Issei says, yes? What was your name? Surzex. This is where, Rias sweat drops and says, no, that's my brother's name. I know you're fucking just doing this as a prickish reminder that you hate me most of the time, doesn't it? Isn't it? This is where, Issei said, what? I don't hate you. I despise you, Issei said with such a dark venom tone. This is where Rias actually gets chills down her spine. This is where, Rias doesn't know why Issei despises her. This is where, Issei says, never mind. It's not necessary why I despise you. But I should be going. This is where, Issei starts walking away, and this is where, Rias doesn't understand why. Issei has his very own reasons and why he despises Rias. There's a couple of reasons, but yeah. No, he doesn't actually despise the other girls like Akano or anyone else. He doesn't actually despise Akano at all, especially Akano, because mostly mother problems. But of course, he doesn't despise Sona is because a lot of things, because Sona is actually smart, brilliant, and very cute to him. And this is where, he doesn't despise, Valerie, because even though she might be the white one, Issei doesn't really care that much. And of course, for the last girl with purple hair, her name is, Of course, he doesn't hate the other girl named, Yuzuria. Of course, he actually doesn't really care about her neither, even though she's very too seductive and for his liking at all. But yeah. He just hates Rias because she has a very spoiled kind of rich girl attitude most of the time. But yeah. Now, of course, Issei doesn't act like a spoiled rich boy attitude because, he's not, I wouldn't consider him not rich, but yeah. But we go into mostly Issei walking away. But this is where, he bumps into a purple-haired girl. And this purple-haired girl is none other than, Yuzuru, let me say that again. He bumps into Yuzuria. And this is where Yuzuria kind of just looks up and says, "Oh, you must be Issei." This is where she puts her kind of fingers and kind of crawling up towards Issei's like mostly chest, and this is where mostly his shirt. And this is where Yuzuria starts acting very seductive, and this is where, well, she then says, "So, Issei, you know who I am?" This is where, well, she smiles, and of course, this is where she closes her eyes. And this is where, well, she doesn't get a response back, but when she opens her eyes, Issei is gone. This is where she looks behind and sees Issei already walking away. And this is where, well, Yuzuria says, "Hey! You're gonna play hard to catch or get." Well, that's good to know. Because I don't like people who just give up too easily. I'm gonna definitely get you. This is where she smiles evilly, but yeah. But we go into mostly Issei getting to his next class, and, well, mostly the whole day kind of just go normal. Now, of course, we go into mostly, well, Issei getting outside of school, but of course, well, wait. This is where, well, we go into mostly Issei kind of getting towards the park, and this is where, well, Issei is like sitting down. This is where, well, Issei said, "What do you want?" What's it called? This is where, well, Issei says, Issei yawns and says, "What do you want, Kiba?" This is where, well, Kiba says, "Yo, Issei, it's been 2 days. What happened?" Issei says, "Nothing happened." This is where, well, mostly I was just sick and that's all. This is where Kiba says, "That's very hard to believe." How is it hard to believe? I don't know, maybe because you annihilated a fried chicken, you overcooked him. Issei chuckles and says, "I guess you're right." This is where, well, mostly Kiba then questioned even further. Are you sure you were just sick, or were you just not wanting to go to school? I don't know. It's just, how do I explain it? I don't know how to explain it, but I just wanted to train. That's all I felt like doing for 2 days. It's, I guess, natural for me. I can't explain that much and why I actually need to train. That's why, well, Kiba is confused, but he knows that Issei is one of the strongest, if not most powerful person in the entire world. Because, goddamn, Issei, without even the Red Dragon, he's very powerful. Because he used that sword, that just flaming just katana, to annihilate a freaking rating game and just exploded, just destroyed the dimension thing. This is where, well, he doesn't know how powerful Issei could have used it if he would have used much more power. But it probably wasn't even the maximum power that Issei can actually use. This is where, well, he then tries to talk to Issei if that was the max power output that he can actually use. Issei says, "No, not exactly. Actually, if I had to use any more, I probably would have actually hit some demons at the way out with the attack." This is where, well, Kiba switches up and says, "Okay. All I wanted to say, Issei-san, is thanks for saving my, what's it called? Master." This is where, well, Issei said, "Yeah, you're welcome." This is where, well, mostly Kiba then chuckles and says, "So, Issei, what are you gonna do from now on?" This is where, well, Issei says, "What do you mean?" "Well, not from now on. What are you gonna be doing tonight?" Issei says, "Probably training." "Why?" "Well, Rios wants to kind of thank you with some stuff, mostly like kind of getting your familiar." "My what?" "A familiar. Do you know what a familiar is?" "No. What?" "Kiba, let me tell you something. I'm not even from this dimension. You realize that, right?" Kiba switches up and says, "Yeah, I keep forgetting you're not exactly from this dimension." Well, Kiba's actually one of the only other people that actually know that Issei is not entirely from this dimension. This is where, well, Kiba says, "Well, yeah, I guess you're right. What? I'm just saying. I don't know if you can get a familiar. Well, I mean, it doesn't matter if it's just for devils. You can just know it's it's quite interesting to get a familiar. You can get a lot of stuff, but yeah. This is where, well, Issei was about to say something, but this is where they hear a scream, like a girl scream, and of course getting hit by like some kind of car. This is where she says ow, and of course she does speak in Italian, and this is where Kiba can understand, but Issei is over here just already understanding fast enough. He's not even a devil, but he already understands. Issei says, "You okay there?" Issei kind of just gives her a hand, and this is none other than Asia Argento. Asia kind of says, "Yeah, I'm fine." Ow! This is where, well, doesn't work well. Ozzy says, "Yeah, I'm fine." Ow, my leg. This is where, well, Issei looks down, and this is where he noticed the mark. But of course, Kiba says, "Oh, that's a pretty bad mark. It doesn't look like tire marks." Mostly, Kiba's well, it looks like tire marks because maybe a car hit her. But this is where Issei already noticed what it is. Not even tire marks. Issei said, Issei right now like breathes out and in. This is where he senses if he can find the hollow. This is where, well, he found the hollow. It's very weak signature, but this is where, well, it's confusing because the hollow doesn't seem to be targeting her that much. Issei said, "Quite interesting. Don't know why the hollow's targeting you, but interesting." He thinks in his head. He then looks down, and this girl has blondish hair and greenish eyes. She also seems to be really cute, in most guys' opinion, but for Issei, he doesn't really care that much. It's not cute to him at all. Kind of annoying most of the time. Because it's kind of given this effect to kind of, like, think that she's cute. But Drake thinks she is cute because she is supposedly a dragon tamer. But Issei really doesn't give a damn. Mostly it's kind of annoying his instinct so much. Does it work? Well, mostly Kiba question is who exactly she is. She looks like a nun, and this is where, well, he's actually quite on guard for a second, and this is where, well, mostly he knows that Issei is not entirely a devil, so of course it really doesn't matter for Issei, but it does matter for him, and this is where, well, Issei said, "Hey, who are you exactly?" This is where mostly the girl looks up, and this is where she speaks in Italian and says that her name is Ozzy Argento, and she needs help. She doesn't understand any of this language. She came here to go to the church. This is where, well, Issei says, "The church? The fuck is a church?" Oh wait, no, I now know what a church is. This is where, well, Kiba says, yeah, you're right, dude. We haven't really been in this dimension for a while. This is where, well, Kiba says, "Church, but the church here is abandoned. Unless," Issei says, "Wait a minute. Fallen angels." This is where Issei then questioned, what's it called, Kiba, and Kiba nodded. This is where, well, we'll see Ozzy kind of switch up, and this is where Ozzy says, "Well, I'll be going." This is where, well, Issei says, "Hold up, brat." This is where, well, Issei grabs her from mostly the collar of the back of the neck. Issei says, "You're coming with us to talk about something, okay?" Ozzy kind of nodded, but before kind of like going, this is where, well, someone was about to hit them with a light spear, and this is where Ozzy was taking in an instant. Right now, kind of just throwing a light spear and running and grabbing her and just running. But yeah, this is where flying most of the time. Issei notices, this is where Issei gets annoyed, and this is where Issei was about to do something until he says, "It's really none of my business," actually. This is where Kiba looks at mostly Issei, and this is where, well, Kiba questioned if he was going to do anything. Issei says, "Not really." This is where, well, Issei's question saying that it's really pointless. He doesn't really care about her, and of course, it's just kind of, his instincts are kind of annoying most of the time for being somewhat of a dragon. This is where, well, mostly Kiba says, "What do you mean?" She felt like a dragon tamer, and it was kind of annoying my instincts because it was like a dragon. This is where, well, since I have a dragon sacred gear. Kiba says, "Ah. Ooh. What do you even think of her?" Annoying. Kind of bratty a little bit. This is where Issei said, Kiba switch off at mostly Issei's kind of absorption of, well, Ozzy Argento, but yeah. This is where, well, we go into mostly Ozzy being kind of kidnapped and taken towards mostly the fallen angel. One fallen angel with long black hair and reddish eyes says, "So, you're Ozzy Argento, the person with the sacred gear called Twilight Healing. You'll be a good asset for this upcoming war against, well, these devils. Well, this is where, well, the person says, well. Hey, what's it called? What's his name again? This is where he says, freed. Are you, what's it called? He says, vampire, whatever has got the name. The old man priest or whatever, priestess. A rogue priestess with, freed. This is where, well, how are you doing with the Excaliburs that you stolen and now being able to fuse? This is where, well, Vampire says, it'll be good enough. We will put them right in front of the devil's, base, and then explode the devils and then start the war. This is where, well, the person says, good. We will start a war. And this time the fallen angels will reign supreme against the devils and angels. No one will be able to stop us. This is where, well, Freed says, don't you think he laughed like a creepy maniac, like in those, what's it called, mostly old movies? This is where, well, the person says, shut up, Freed. This is where, well, Freed says, fine. This is where, well, we go into mostly a time skip later on. Now, of course, this is where Issei and Kiba are just walking. This is where, well, Exorcists appear right in front of Issei and Kiba. Now, of course, the Exorcists kind of question, well, the two devils, they're kind of thinking that, well, Issei's considered a devil, and where their masters at. Kiba kind of pulls out a sword from Sword Bearer, and Issei just seems to not care less. This is where, well, Kiba says, why are you Exorcists here? Are you prepared to die? This is where, well, the Exorcists kind of get on guard. This is where one Exorcist pulls out an Excalibur fragment, and that is none other than Excalibur Durantar, or not Durantar, that's the wrong thing. Destroyer, the Excalibur Destroyer. And this is where, well, she charges at, well, mostly Kiba. This is where, well, Kiba dodges, and this is where Issei just easily flash step away. Mostly just, not even flash step, he just steps aside. This is where Issei said, you good, Kiba? Kiba says, of course, I'm going to destroy that fucking Excalibur. So Issei says, oh, that's an Excalibur. Quite interesting. This is where, well, someone was about to attack Issei from behind, mostly having like a katana, and this is where Issei catches with one finger. Like, he catches it like this. So it looks like this. This is where Issei says, pathetic. This is where, well, it was none other than a girl with kind of like orangey, kind of chestnut hair, and of course kind of violet eyes. This is where, well, she coughs up blood and falls down to the ground. This is where the girl with bluish hair and of course one green bang, mostly she won her eyes and sees Irina none other than defeated. She had an Excalibur, and yes, she got defeated and emptied by the guy who just stopped her shit with one finger and just done. This is where Kiba says, well, that's Issei for you, god damn it. Yeah, Issei didn't give a damn about the Excalibur shit. This is where, well, the other Exorcist gets on guard in an instant. Mostly 3 other Exorcists, because there's actually 5 in total. This is where Issei looks at the other 3. Issei says, you people are pathetic. Out of my way. Issei looks at the other 3 remaining kind of like, well, mostly Exorcists, and they all pull down their hoods. Now, of course, they all have different kind of hairstyles. One girl has kind of like this kind of like goldenish blonde hair. Of course, it's short and of course with golden eyes. The other one has kind of like rosy kind of blondish hair. And this is where, well, it's long, and of course she has kind of reddish eyes. Now, of course, they have guns instead of mostly like swords or whatever. And this is where, well, the goldenish girl, well, mostly golden-eyed girl has like this rocket launcher gun, but yeah. And the other girl kind of has like this machine gun, but yeah. Now, the last one is a girl with mostly, the last one kind of has like this bluish kind of hair. Of course, she has in 2 ponytails, and they're long ponytails. This is where she has brownish eyes, and this is where she kind of has also a machine gun. This is where, well, they're all kind of pointing their guns at Issei, and this is where Issei said, fine, shoot me. This is where Issei literally just says, shoot me, and this is where all of them kind of just points their guns at Issei, and Issei says, do it. This is where Kiba says, I don't think this is a good idea. Whatever, I'm not going to say anything. This is where Zenobia is confused. And this is where everyone starts shooting at Issei. And Issei literally blinks out of, well, not even blinks out of existence. He pulls out his sword. And of course, it was a metallic sword, and this is where all the girls managed to hit, keep shooting at Issei. And this is where, Issei seems like he's falling down to the ground, and they all ran out of ammo, yeah, because all of them shot at Issei at the same time. And this is where Issei says, shatter. This is where Issei puts back his blade back into his sheath and says, now you are out of ammo. I can let you reload, or I can just I can just knock you all out. This is where they say, wait, what the fuck? This is where they all look at him just confused. One girl says, that's complete bullshit, that's cheating. Issei says, no, that is not cheating. This is literally a battlefield. I didn't even want to fight you motherfuckers. You literally just tried to attack me. Whatever. Issei appears right in front of all of them. And this is where Issei says, go to sleep. This is where, Issei knocks him out all in an instant. Zenobia is about to attack Issei, and Issei said, sure, why not? I can do this. This is where Issei puts his hand into a karate chop motion, and Issei just destroys the Excalibur in an instant. Excalibur fragment destruction. Zenobia won her eyes, and this is where she actually had blood on her chest, and this is where she falls down to the ground. But yeah, this is where Kiba says, goddamn. Issei, are you okay? Issei says, no, I'm not. I'm tired right now, and I just got pissed off by 5 exorcists. They're not dead. I literally just knocked them all out. Oh, should we bring them somewhere? Issei says, is your house close? No. Issei says, wait, what street are we on? Oh yeah, my house is close enough. This is where Kiba says, are we supposed to pick them up? Issei says, if you don't want to pick them up, I can pick them up. Really? How can you? This is where, Issei pulls out his sword again, and this is where he says, Kopio Shinkai, Shikai release. This is where, duplicate. This is where, he duplicates himself into 2 of them, and just picks up mostly the 2, figure clones, just picks up mostly, there's actually 5, picks up all 5 exorcists, and just, brings them. Even the, fragments, because Issei is not, affected by the Excaliburs at all. Even bullets of holy energy won't affect him at all, because he's not a devil. This is where Kiba says, goddamn, I should shut up half the time in talking about mostly how your sword can do that. It's not really at all like sword birth, is it? This is it's not exactly. Actually, I'll give you a hint. I can copy shit. This is where, mostly, Kiba says, you can copy shit? Wait, does that mean all these abilities that I am actually using are not actually my own? I haven't even shown you my true actually release. I will tell you. This is where Kiba, kind of listened intently from Issei's kind of explanation. So every being, I can't tell you the species of what we really are or what I really am, but I am kind of a halfling, somewhat a halfling of my halfling of my species. This is where, Kiba nodded. My father is actually a full person, full race, like a full person of the race that we're from. Oh? Then what about your... This is where he says, let me go on with the sword experiment. This is where, Kiba says, okay. Kiba really wanted to ask about his mother, but this is where Issei really cuts him off. Knowing that mostly his mother seems to be a very sensitive topic for Issei. This is where, Issei says, so, with the sword styles, every person that in my race usually use these swords. They're called Zanpakutos. Swords that mostly are connected with your own soul. This is where, Kiba winds his eyes and says, that sounds fucking cool. Issei says, but the Zanpakutos are coming some stages. But that is not the point. Your Zanpakuto can actually kind of come fully from your soul. It's actually a kind of mostly like a reflection of your soul. That's what the Zanpakuto is mostly from, of your soul. If there's 2 stages for the sword, there is its Shikai release. It's mostly mostly a half. Well, not even a full release. It's like a half release, where you can use this like half release to fight in battle. It's a very powerful ability that not many. This is where Issei was about to actually reveal the race, until he stopped himself and says race that mostly we can do. there's also the full state of what's it called, the full release, and that is called Bankai. Bankai is the full release, and much more powerful than the Shikai release. This is where, well, we'll see. Right now, Kiba's saying that really sounds really fucking cool. This is where, well, they mostly all 5 clones of Issei stops at this mansion. This is where he says, "Is this seriously where you live?" He says, "Yeah, my father was the one that got me this. I was thinking I was just gonna live somewhere, but mostly he got me this." This is where, well, Kiba says, yeah, your family's fucking rich. Even though you're not from this dimension, yeah, no. This is where, well, Issei kind of goes inside. Of course, the seals allow, well, Issei to enter, even with the Exorcist. And this is where Kiba says, "I can't get inside." Issei says, "Oh yeah, forgot this." This is where, well, Issei kind of managed to put one of the Exorcists down and kind of go to the door entrance. And right now, make sure that Kiba's allowed to go in. This is where, well, Kiba can go in now. And of course, Issei just closes up, so mostly Rios doesn't pop up out of nowhere. But yeah, Issei picks up the Exorcist and walks inside. Now, of course, he goes into some of the bedrooms and just puts most of the Exorcists down. And of course, there are weapons next to them, but yeah. This is where, well, Issei started explaining about a little bit more about what Issei can really do with his own sword. He's actually one of the most special and rarest cases in his actual race. Actually, he's actually one of the most gifted, rarest kind of very special cases. He's not entirely mostly of his own race. He's not even a half version. He's actually, this is where Issei says, "I'm only 25% human," if that's what you want to know. This is where, well, Kiba won his eyes, and this is where, well, he didn't ask about Issei and what his other mostly races. This is where, well, Issei says, "My father race, and then my other race is mostly came from, well, you can say it actually came from my mother's side." This is where, well, Kiba's confused and then asks a little bit more. And this is where, well, the other race, I cannot explain neither about what my mother's side was. And neither can I explain about her other side. She was human, but yeah. This is where, well, and the third one was a little incident problem. But I cannot explain about that one either. Kiba can see that mostly Issei does not want to go into mostly all the details with his mother problem. Now, of course, well, he won't force Issei to explain it, but this is where he's surprised to only believe that Issei is only 25% human. Making him not even actually entirely human is actually now suspected. He was actually quite curious on why Issei is always this powerful. It actually just means that Issei wasn't even a human in the first place. He's actually only like 25%, making him the other races kind of be, or the other race be quite mystery for anyone. This is where, well, he says, but yeah. This is where, well, he says, yawns a little bit, and this is where he says, "I am kind of tired. Are you gonna go home or not?" This is where Kiba says, "What about the Exorcists? I can deal with them. They won't be able to even kill me in my sleep." Okay, this is where, well, Kiba nodded. Yes, alright, well, Kiba says, "I will tell what's it called, Narias and the others about mostly the Exorcist." He says, "Don't worry about that. I already texted Sona about it." Wait, you got Sona's number? Kinda. Seraphon gave it to me. Ah. How can you remember Seraphon's name, Sona's name, and even Sursex's name, but you cannot remember Maria's? Can you remember what's it called, some of the other mouths? Achuka and Lazy Guy. Or wait, not Lazy Guy. Stark. It reminds me way too much of someone else. But yeah, their name is Stark and they're lazy as fuck. Literally, that guy reminds me too much of it. This is where, well, Kiba switch up and says, "Oh, okay." This is where, well, Kiba then walks away, and this is where, well, mostly we go into Issei going to sleep. Now, of course, the next day happens, and this is where, well, Issei noticed that that room is very lively, like there are a bunch of people talking. Issei knocks at the door, and this is where, well, people get on guard, and this is where Issei says, "I'm gonna go in, and if you try to shoot me, I'll kill you in an instant." Issei opens the door, and this is where, well, he noticed they are actually changed, and Issei says, "Nope, sorry about that." This is where Issei, like, closes the door and says, "Yeah, no, I am not gonna go through that day." This is where Issei just walks downstairs, And this is where, well, Issei just kind of makes himself food. But this is where Drake says, you know, Issei, that was actually quite an amazing sight to see. Any guy would kill to see this sight. To see that amazing sight. My god, they're all so beautiful. This is where Issei says, can you shut up, you overgrown lizard? Why do you always go out of nowhere and out of your time to go on in details and shut the hell up? This is where, well, Issa says, oh, that also reminds me. Wasn't I supposed to go yesterday about meeting Reyes or something? And this is where, well, Drake says, and I can't believe you actually remember her name. And yet you don't care. I don't care. Well, whatever. This is where, well, Issei then kind of just eats mostly bread. And this is where he then sees the Exorcist kind of going downstairs. Of course, they're still on guard and seeing Issei. Issei said, what? What are y'all looking at? This is where, well, Issei said with such an annoyed tone because they literally just glaring at him. Issei said, what? Just because I accidentally walked into your room. You didn't say shit, you didn't say anything. Not my fault that I actually took one look at you. Now, if you don't mind me asking, why is a bunch of exorcists in Kuo Town when mostly this place is run by devils? This is where, well, they glance at him and one girl decides to speak up. Mostly the orange-haired girl that was actually wounded in the first place by Issei. She says that they're basically here because Excalibur fragments were stolen. This is where, well, Zenobia kind of cuts her off and says, how did you manage to repair my, what's it called, Excalibur of Destruction? Issei says, huh? I didn't destroy it. What are you talking about? How can I destroy something that I couldn't even destroy in the first place? This person Zenobia, well, kind of like narrow her eyes at Issei, and, well, mostly Zenobia for some reason knows that Issei is completely lying and bullshitting. Now, of course, no one else can actually prove about the destroyed fragment because they were all knocked down in the first place. This is where, well, Issei says, now, if you don't mind me asking, so that is all what you're here for? Quite interesting. If that's all what you're here for, you can just go talk to the devils about that. Since I'm not really a part of the devils, I'm only friends with some of the devils. You see here, I'm not a part of the devil, of any of the devils, because if I was, then how the hell am I able to do this? Issei grabs, well, see, he appears right in front of Irina, and grabs, what's it called, the Excalibur mimic, and just stabs into his hand. And it doesn't do jack shit at all, it just bleeds. This is where Issei says, I'm not a devil. Can you see that? Not a devil at all. Issei takes Excalibur mimic out of his hand and just throws it back to, well, mostly Irina. Of course, wiping the blood off of mostly the Excalibur mimic and gave it back to, well, Irina. Irina won her eyes. Every what's it called, Exorcist won their eyes. They can see now Issei is really not a devil. He literally just stabbed Excalibur into his hand. Even with the fact that he was touching it and the fact that it didn't actually hurt him at all. Making him be a just normal human. Maybe. But of course, even if he was a different race, it would have affected him somewhat. But it didn't. This is where, well, Irina questioned what exactly Issei is. Issei just kind of looks at them and decides to just say one thing. I'm only 25% human. The other things I don't know exactly. Well, I do know. It's just that race will not be unnecessary to tell you anything. Now, if you don't mind me, I'm going to school, and you can probably go talk to the devil heresists in the school if you actually follow me. This is where, well, they actually follow Issei, and this is where they get outside, and this is where, well, some of them are still on guard, and this is where, well, Issei didn't really care. Follow me or not, I don't really care. I'm gonna go to school and other things. That's what reminds me, I'm gonna have to deal with Red Riding Hood. This is so annoying. This is where, well, Issei just keeps walking, and this is where, well, they are getting to the school, and when they get to the school, this is where Issei says, hello there, Sona-chan. This is where Sona looks up and says, Issei, wait, This is where Issei says, yes, those are the exorcists. This is where, well, Sona says, follow me, exorcist. The exorcists follow Sona, but yeah. This is where, well, they see mostly Issei walking away and disappearing in an instant flash them. Because he just didn't want to be annoyed and stared by the exorcist for a second. That's where the exorcists widened their eyes and how fast Issei was. Now, of course, Sona saw this also, and this is where she says, "How fast is he?" This is where, Sona says in her head. This is where, we go into mostly the Exorcist and mostly the devils talking, but yeah. This is where the Exorcist, one of them kind of brought up Issei and questioning who exactly Issei exactly is. This is where some of the people kind of just look at her, mostly Reese and Sona looks at her and just like, we don't actually know neither. This is where, mostly the Exorcist just switch up in deadpans at mostly how the devils react with what's called Issei, but yeah, or mostly just are with the person named Issei, but yeah. Now, this is where, I'm thinking of leaving it off here for part 5 of this What If. But other than that, yeah, I'm gonna leave it off here. Part 6 will be whenever, but yeah. Other than that, I'm gonna go and bye. And before I go, goodbye, guys. So yeah, bye.